My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 34 years old. And 3 months ago, I discovered that the two people I trusted most in the world had been betraying me for 3 years. My husband of 7 years. And my best friend since college. In my bed. In my house. While I was at work. This isn't just a story about infidelity. This is a story about the kind of betrayal that makes you question every memory, every moment, everyone I love you ever believed. But more importantly, this is a story about how I found out, what I did with that information, and how I made sure they both paid for what they did. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is going to take you on a journey from devastation to pure, calculated justice. And trust me, the ending is worth it. Let me take you back to the beginning, back when I thought I had the perfect life. 2016, I met my husband, Michael, at a mutual friend's birthday party in Brooklyn. He was a financial analyst. I was a marketing manager at a tech startup. He was handsome, charming, successful. We clicked immediately. 6 months later, we moved in together. A year after that, he proposed on a beach in Montauk. It was perfect. He was perfect. We got married in 2017. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. It was everything I'd ever wanted. One of those close friends was my best friend, Jessica. Jessica and I met freshman year at NYU. We were roommates, study partners, partners in crime. We'd been through everything together. Bad breakfasts, worse boyfriends, graduation, first jobs, heartbreaks, triumphs. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. She gave a toast that made everyone cry. She talked about how happy she was that I'd found someone who deserved me. How Michael was one of the good ones. She was lying. Even then, she was already sleeping with him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For the first few years of my marriage, everything seemed fine. Michael and I had our routines. I worked long hours at the startup, sometimes 60, 70 hours a week. Michael worked from home twice a week as his company shifted to hybrid schedules. Jessica lived in Williamsburg, about 20 minutes from our apartment in Park Slope. She worked in fashion PR. We saw each other once or twice a week, brunch on Sundays, happy hours, girls' nights. She and Michael got along great, maybe too great, but I never thought anything of it. Why would I? She was my best friend. He was my husband. They were the two most important people in my life. I trusted them completely. That was my first mistake. If you've ever trusted someone who didn't deserve it, drop a comment right now. Let me know I'm not alone in this. Looking back, there were signs, small things that didn't register at the time. Jessica always knew when Michael would be working from home. She'd text me, "Is Michael home today? I want to drop off that book I borrowed, but I don't want to interrupt his calls." How did she always know his schedule? She had a key to our apartment. For emergencies, I'd said when I gave it to her 2 years into my marriage, in case I lock myself out. She used that key a lot more than I realized. Michael started going to the gym more, got more fit, started dressing better. "I'm just taking better care of myself," he said. Hitting 35 made me realize I need to stay healthy. I thought it was great, supportive wife that I was. Jessica started canceling on me more often. Work emergency. Not feeling well. Can we reschedule? But she always made time for couples dinners, her, me, and Michael. She loved those. My work got busier in 2020. I was promoted to senior director. I was traveling more, conferences, client meetings, sometimes week-long trips to the West Coast. "Don't worry about me," Michael would say. "I'll be fine." Jessica said she'd check on me, make sure I'm fed. Oh, she was checking on him all right. I didn't suspect a thing. Not one thing. Until March 2024. I was supposed to be in San Francisco for a week-long conference. Major industry event, something I'd been planning for months. The night before my flight, I got food poisoning. Bad. Like, hospitalization bad. I spent 6 hours in the ER. They pumped me full of fluids, gave me medication, and sent me home with strict orders to rest for 3 days. I called Michael from the hospital. "I can't go to San Francisco. I'm so sick." "Oh my God. Are you okay? I'm coming to get you." "No, it's fine. I'll Uber home. Just, can you make sure the bed is ready? I need to sleep for like 48 hours. "Of course, babe. I love you. Feel better." I got home around 11 p.m. Michael was waiting. He helped me to bed, got me water, was the perfect husband. I slept for 14 hours straight. The next morning, Michael had a client meeting he couldn't miss. "Will you be okay alone for a few hours?" I'll be fine. Go. I'm just going to sleep anyway. He left around 9 a.m. I went back to sleep. Around noon, I woke up feeling slightly better. Still weak, but able to move around. I decided to take a shower, change the sheets, try to feel human again. I was in the bedroom, stripping the sheets, when I heard it. A key in the front door. Michael's back early, I thought. But it wasn't Michael's voice I heard. It was Jessica's Michael. She called out, "You here?" My blood went cold. Why was Jessica in my apartment? Why did she think Michael was here? I stood frozen in my bedroom, listening. I heard her footsteps. She was walking toward the bedroom. I don't know what instinct took over, but I quickly moved into the walk-in closet and partially closed the door, leaving just a crack to see through. Jessica walked into my bedroom. She was wearing a dress, full makeup, hair done, like she was going on a date. She looked at herself in the mirror, adjusted her hair, checked her lipstick. Then she lay down on my bed. My bed. She pulled out her phone and texted someone. Seconds later, I heard her phone buzz. She smiled at whatever message she received. I stood there in the closet, my heart pounding so hard I thought she'd hear it. 20 minutes later, I heard the front door open again. Jess? Michael's voice. Jess. Not Jessica. Jess. My husband had a nickname for my best friend. In here, she called out, her voice playful. I watched through the crack in the closet door as Michael walked into our bedroom. He smiled when he saw her on the bed. And then he kissed her. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. A kiss that showed history, familiarity, intimacy. "I missed you," she said. "It's been 3 days," he laughed. "Sarah almost never travels anymore." "Maybe we should tell her," Jessica said. "This is getting ridiculous." My vision blurred. My hands were shaking so hard I had to press them against the closet wall. "Not yet," Michael said. "Let me figure out the finances first. I need to make sure I'm protected." "How much longer?" Jessica asked. "A few more months. Then we'll tell her. I'll file for divorce, and we can finally stop hiding." If you're watching this and your heart is racing right now, hit that like button. Because it gets so much worse before it gets better. They started undressing each other. In my bedroom. On my bed. While I stood 15 feet away in the closet. I should have burst out. I should have confronted them. I should have screamed. But I didn't. Because something in my brain shifted. Something cold and calculating took over. If I confronted them now, in the heat of the moment, what would happen? They'd apologize. They'd cry. They'd beg for forgiveness. Michael would lawyer up immediately. Jessica would disappear. And I'd be the scorned wife, the humiliated friend, the woman who lost everything. No, I needed proof. I needed leverage. I needed to control this situation. So I pulled out my phone, and I started recording. I recorded everything. The audio was crystal clear. Their voices. Their laughter. The things they said. "She has no idea," Jessica said at one point. "She's so clueless. She works too much to notice," Michael said. "Always has. Do you think she'll be surprised when you ask for a divorce?" "Probably. But honestly, I think she'll be relieved. We haven't had sex in months. She's married to her job. They talked about me like I was a stranger. Like I was an obstacle. Like I was nothing." I recorded for 45 minutes. Every word. Every sound. Then I quietly backed out of the closet, crept to the front door, grabbed my purse and keys, and left. I sat in my car 2 blocks away and threw up. I didn't go back to the apartment that day. I checked into a hotel in Midtown. I told Michael the first was staying with a friend to avoid getting him sick. He texted back. "Good idea. Love you. Feel better?" I stared at that text for 10 minutes. Love you. He'd just spent the afternoon having sex with my best friend in our bed, and he texted me love you. I didn't respond. Instead, I called a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. The best divorce attorney in New York City. A woman named Rachel Goldman who had a reputation for destroying cheating spouses in court. I got an emergency consultation the next morning. "Tell me everything," Rachel said. I played her the recording. She listened without interruption. When it ended, she looked at me with something between pity and respect. "You recorded this yourself while they were in the act?" "Yes. And you didn't confront them?" "No." Smart? Very smart. She leaned forward. "Sarah, this recording is legal in New York. It's a one-party consent state. This is extremely valuable evidence. But we need more." "More?" "We need documentation. Proof of how long this has been going on. Financial records. Communication. Everything. Because right now, you have proof of one affair. But if we can prove this has been happening for years, we can argue emotional distress, we can go after his assets more aggressively. How do I get that? Rachel smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. We investigate. And we're very, very quiet about it. Over the next 2 weeks, I became a detective. I hired a private investigator, top of the line, former FBI. He was expensive, but Rachel said he was worth it. Within 48 hours, he had everything. Photos of Michael and Jessica together at restaurants, hotels, her apartment, dates going back 3 years. 3 years. They'd been doing this for 3 years. Credit card statements showing Michael paying for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, gifts I never received, phone records showing thousands of texts between them, calls that lasted hours. The PI even found their Venmo history. Jessica had sent Michael money with captions like rent, winking face emoji, and dinner at our spot, red heart emoji. Our spot. They had spots. Rachel compiled everything into a file an inch thick. This is airtight, she said. New York is a no-fault divorce state, so the affair doesn't technically matter for the divorce itself, but it matters for everything else. Asset division. Spousal support. The judge will take this into account. What do I do now? I asked. That depends. Do you want maximum financial impact, or maximum emotional impact? I thought about that question for a long time. Both, I finally said. Rachel grinned. Now we're talking. Before we move forward, I need you to do something. Comment right now and tell me, should Sarah go for financial revenge, emotional revenge, or both? I want to know what you would do. Rachel and I crafted a plan. It was surgical. It was brutal. It was perfect. Step 1. Secure my assets. I moved money from our joint accounts into a personal account Michael didn't know about. Not all of it. That would be obvious. But enough to protect myself. Rachel made sure everything was legal. I documented every asset we had. The apartment, the car, investments, retirement accounts, everything. Step 2. Gather more evidence. I installed hidden cameras in our apartment. Tiny ones. The PI set them up while Michael was at work. Living room, bedroom, kitchen. I wanted everything documented. Over the next week, I captured them together 3 more times. Michael had told me he had work dinners those nights. The cameras caught everything. Step 3. The social element. This was Rachel's idea. You need to control the narrative, she said. When this comes out, people are going to take sides. You need to make sure they take yours. I started documenting my life. I posted on Instagram, happy photos of me and Michael, sweet captions about our relationship. I tagged Jessica in girls' night posts. I wanted a public record of what they were destroying. I also quietly reached out to a few mutual friends. Not to tell them what was happening, not yet. But to plant seeds. Has Jessica seemed weird to you lately? I'd ask casually, is it just me or has Michael been distant? I was building a foundation for the reveal. Step 4. The financial investigation. Rachel hired a forensic accountant. We went through every penny Michael had spent in the last 3 years. The accountant found something interesting. Michael had opened a separate bank account I didn't know about. He'd been funneling money into it. About $3,000 a month for 2 years. He was preparing for the divorce. He was hiding assets. That's illegal, Rachel said, her eyes gleaming. That's very, very illegal. We're going to destroy him with this. Step 5. The confrontation. Rachel and I planned it down to the minute. We picked a date. April 15th, tax day. Ironic. I would confront them both. At the same time, in front of witnesses. Witnesses? I asked. Trust me, Rachel said. You want witnesses. The week before the confrontation, I acted completely normal. Loving wife? Supportive friend. No indication anything was wrong. I went to brunch with Jessica. She told me about a guy she was sort of seeing, but it's complicated. What's complicated about it? I asked. He's dealing with some stuff. A previous relationship that's ending. But I really think we have something special. She was talking about my husband. To my face. I smiled and ordered another mimosa. Michael and I had date night. He took me to a nice restaurant. He held my hand across the table. I love you so much, he said. I love you too, I lied. It was the last time I'd ever say those words to him. Smash that subscribe button if you want to see how this confrontation goes down, because what I'm about to tell you is legendary. April 15th, 2024. I told Michael the first wanted to have a dinner party. Just a few close friends. I've been so busy with work. I want to reconnect with people. That sounds great, he said. Who are you inviting? Jessica, obviously, and a few people from work. Maybe 8 people total? Perfect. I set it for 7 p.m. on a Saturday. I invited Jessica. I invited 2 of Michael's closest friends, guys who'd been at our wedding. I invited my colleague Marcus, who was also a notary public. This would be important later. I invited Michael's sister, Lauren, who I'd always gotten along with. And I invited my parents. A dinner party? My mom asked when I called. That's not really your thing, honey. I know. But I need you there. Trust me. My parents drove in from Connecticut. At 6:45 p.m., everyone started arriving. Jessica showed up in a tight dress and heels. She'd clearly put in effort. She hugged me. This is so fun. We never do dinner parties. I know. I wanted everyone together. Michael was playing host, getting drinks, being charming. At 7:15, when everyone was settled in the living room with drinks and appetizers, I stood up. Thanks everyone for coming. I know this was last minute, but I wanted you all here for something important. Michael looked at me, curious. Jessica was smiling. Michael, Jessica, can you come stand up here with me? They exchanged a quick glance. Too quick for most people to notice. But I noticed. They stood up and joined me at the front of the room. I want to talk about loyalty, I said. About trust. About the people we let into our lives. Michael's face was starting to change. He sensed something was wrong. Michael, we've been married for 7 years. Jessica, we've been best friends for 12 years. You're both so important to me. Jessica was starting to look uncomfortable. So I was devastated to discover that you've been having an affair. For 3 years. The room went silent. Dead. Silent. Michael's face went white. Sarah. Let me finish. My voice was calm. Ice cold. I have recordings of you having sex in our bed. I have photos of you together at hotels. I have 3 years of credit card receipts, text messages, and financial records showing you planning a life together. Jessica started to speak. I held up my hand. I have video evidence from cameras I installed in this apartment showing you together when you thought I was traveling. I have documentation of hidden bank accounts. I have everything. I turned to Marcus. Can you witness these signatures? I pulled out 2 sets of papers. Michael, these are divorce papers. You're being served right now. I'm filing on grounds that will allow me to pursue your hidden assets. My lawyer estimates I'll get about 70% of everything we own, plus the apartment. I handed him the papers. He took them with shaking hands. I turned to Jessica. These are papers informing you that I'm pursuing a civil suit for emotional distress and alienation of affection. Yes, that's a real thing in New York under certain circumstances. My lawyer is very creative. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. I'm doing this publicly because I want everyone here to witness who you both really are. I want Michael's friends to see. I want his sister to see. I want my parents to see. I want you both to feel, right now, a fraction of the humiliation I felt. Comment justice if you think they deserved this public exposure. I want to know if I went too far or if this was exactly right. Michael found his voice. Sarah, please, can we talk about this privately? Why? So you can manipulate me again? So you can lie to me again? No. We're done talking. Jessica was crying. I never meant for this to happen. It just happened. It just happened? For 3 years. In my bed? You just happened to sleep with my husband hundreds of times while pretending to be my friend. I'm sorry, she sobbed. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. I looked around the room. Michael's friends looked disgusted. His sister was crying. My parents looked proud and heartbroken at the same time. I'm leaving, I said. I've already moved out. My lawyer will be in touch. If either of you try to contact me, I'll get a restraining order. I picked up my purse. I'd already packed everything I needed from the apartment days ago. This apartment? I get it in the divorce. Michael, you have 30 days to vacate. Jessica, if I catch you here again, I'm calling the police for trespassing. I walked toward the door. Sarah, wait. Michael called out. I turned back. You said I worked too much to notice. You called me clueless. You said you'd wait until you'd hidden enough money and then divorce me. I heard everything, Michael. Every word. I looked at Jessica. And you? You said I was so clueless. You made fun of me. You laughed about how easy it was to lie to me. I smiled. It felt good. Turns out I'm not as clueless as you thought. And I left. I walked out of that apartment, got in my car, and drove away. And for the first time in months, I felt free. The fallout was nuclear. Within 24 hours, everyone knew. Our entire friend group, our families, mutual acquaintances. Michael tried to control the narrative at first. He texted people, "It's complicated. There are two sides." But I'd already sent the receipts to his closest friends. The photos, the bank statements, the timeline. There was no two sides. There was just the truth. His friends dropped him immediately. The guys who'd been at the dinner party? They texted me apologies. They said they had no idea. They said they'd testify if I needed them to. His sister Lauren called me. "I always thought Jessica was shady. I'm so sorry. I should have said something." "You didn't know," I said. "None of us did. What he did is unforgivable. He's not the brother I thought I knew." Jessica's life imploded even faster. I sent everything to her employer, a fashion PR firm that prided itself on representing ethical brands and women supporting women. Sleeping with your best friend's husband for 3 years doesn't exactly align with those values. She was fired within a week. I also sent the information to her family. Her mother called me in tears. "Sarah, I am so sorry. I don't even know what to say. We love you. We're horrified." Her parents cut her off financially. She'd been living beyond her means, and without their help, she couldn't afford her Williamsburg apartment. She had to move back to Ohio to live with her grandmother. The mutual friends we'd shared? They chose sides. And they chose mine. Every single one of them. Jessica tried to reach out a few times. Texts, emails, calls from numbers I didn't recognize. I never responded. I'd said everything I needed to say. Michael tried too. Long emails about how sorry he was, how it was a mistake, how he still loved me. My lawyer responded to all of them with, "All communication must go through legal counsel. If you've made it this far in the story, do me a favor and hit that like button. And drop a comment telling me, would you ever be able to forgive betrayal like this? Or is this unforgivable?" The divorce took 4 months. Rachel was a shark. She tore Michael apart in court. The hidden bank accounts, the proof of affair, the financial deception, everything. The judge was not impressed with Michael. I got the apartment. I got 65% of our assets. I got to keep my retirement accounts intact while his were split. He had to pay my legal fees, $45,000. The cherry on top? The prenup we'd signed had an infidelity clause. If either of us cheated, we forfeited spousal support. Michael had insisted on that clause when we got married. Just to protect both of us, he'd said. It protected me just fine. He got nothing. Jessica's civil suit was settled out of court. She couldn't afford a trial. She paid me $25,000, probably money from her parents. I donated it to a women's shelter. I didn't want their money. I wanted them to know they couldn't buy their way out of consequences. 6 months after the confrontation, I ran into Jessica at a coffee shop in Manhattan. She looked terrible. Thinner. Tired. Older. She saw me and froze. I walked past her without a word. As I was leaving, she called out, "Sarah, please. Can we talk? I miss you." I turned around. "You miss me? Or you miss having someone to betray?" I made a mistake. I was stupid. I was selfish. But I really did love you as a friend. "No," I said. "You didn't. Because friends don't do what you did. Friends don't lie for 3 years. Friends don't laugh about how clueless you are behind your back. I'm so sorry. I know you are. But sorry doesn't fix what you broke. Sorry doesn't give me back 3 years of my life. Sorry doesn't make you a better person." I walked out. I haven't seen her since. Michael, I heard through mutual acquaintances, moved to Boston. He works for a smaller firm now. He's dating someone new, but it's not Jessica. Apparently, once the secret was out, they didn't want each other anymore. Funny how that works. Their relationship was built on betrayal and sneaking around. Once it was public, it lost its appeal. They deserved each other, but even they couldn't stand each other once the thrill was gone. That was 6 months ago. Today, I'm better than I've ever been. I got a promotion at work. I'm living in the apartment, redecorated, new furniture, no memories of them. I've been in therapy, working through the betrayal, the trust issues, the anger. I've started dating again, slowly, carefully, but I'm opening up to the possibility of love again. And I've learned something important. The people who betray you teach you more than the people who love you. Michael and Jessica taught me to trust my instincts, to verify what I'm told, to never make someone a priority who makes me an option. They taught me that I'm stronger than I ever knew. that I can survive the worst kind of betrayal and come out the other side. They taught me what real friendship looks like, and it's not Jessica. It's the people who stood by me during the divorce, the coworkers who checked in, the family who supported me, the new friends I've made who like me for me, not for what I can give them. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I'd never gotten food poisoning, if I'd gone to San Francisco like planned. How much longer would they have continued? Months? Years? Would they have told me eventually? Or would Michael have just filed for divorce one day and I'd have never known why? I'm grateful, in a twisted way, for that food poisoning, for that recording, for finding out when I did, how I did, because it gave me control. It gave me power. It gave me the ability to end things on my terms. Some people say what I did was cruel, that I humiliated them unnecessarily, that I should have handled it privately. But here's the thing. They humiliated me for 3 years. They made a fool of me in private while pretending to love me in public. All I did was flip the script. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making me feel less alone. If you're going through something similar, if you're being betrayed, if you're being lied to, if you feel like something is wrong but you can't prove it, trust your gut. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You know more than you think you do. And when you're ready, when you have the proof, when you have the plan, take your power back. Do me 3 final favors. Subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And comment below, Team Sarah or Team Forgiveness. I genuinely want to know where you all stand. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I survived betrayal by my husband and my best friend, and I came out stronger. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.